Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening,
What
whatever.
up?
Some of you are actually already into the new year,
Mm,
way over yonder on the other side of the world. Um,
hmm
and that phrase works no matter if you're a marble guy or you're a flat Earth guy. It doesn't matter. You're on the other side. So, um,
Yep.
you know, as you can see, Paul is not here. He had to work, unfortunately.
What a nerd.
I know. So we are uh, we are steaming forward and going to do his show for him today. If y'all don't know who I have sitting here beside me, that is Fisher Spam, Mr. James, and we're going to be talking about the rake today.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the plan. So,
Real quick, I just looked. I'm trying to keep everybody up to date. I haven't found anything new on the fellows that died in Washington. So until they release any, as soon as they do release it, and as soon as I see it, I'll give y'all an update on it. But right now, we got nothing. So
interesting. Sad situation there.
it is. It is. You know, I hate when anybody passes in that way. Period. But you know, these guys are doing out there supposedly doing what a lot of us enjoy doing, and it it's probably we're probably gonna, if it was something not normal, as we say, we probably will never hear about it. I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if it comes up anything other than exposure. The things we have to watch for is if they blame it on a bear, or if they
Wild dogs.
wild dogs or big cats, or even as little as if the bodies are cremated real quick after the autopsy, that type of thing. But we'll keep an eye on it, see what we can find out.
Yeah. Yeah. See if something comes out of it.
Paul is at work, but he's watching. So the boss is watching. So we got to be on, cross our I's and dot our T's. So
Dot our lowercase J's, to quote a movie scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here with Paul's crowd.
Yeah. Y'all be sure and share this out so we can maybe get some people in here, and more the merrier. Yeah, I mean we got people in here. I'm not calling y'all people, but just more people. But
Right.
we will be ringing in the new year on the front porch tonight. So y'all, if you don't have anything going, y'all make plans to hang out with us. I don't know who's going to be with me. I haven't recruited anybody yet.
Cool. Sounds like a good time no matter what.
I think so. I think it will be.
Yeah. Maybe get some drinks to flow on and see what kind of interesting stuff happens, right?
Well, you know what? If I get drinks to flow, it usually does get a little rambunctious. So we will see how it goes.
Sounds like a party.
So you said, first off, let's talk about the rake. I want to get your take on it, because I told him, I said, because I hollered at James and I said, hey, you want to co-host with me? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, you pick the topic, any topic. He chose damn rake, and I did not see that coming, folks. I really didn't. I figured we'd be talking about Dogman or something, but no, he pulled the rake out of his hat. So,
well, I try to keep it interesting, just a little bit of.
I was disappointed it wasn't the type to come over and rake my damn leaves, because all my trees decided to fall at once.
I've actually got a picture of one of those.
Of what?
A rake. With a rake.
Oh, what kind of rake? Oh, wait a minute. Rake. No, you got a rake raking. That's what you got.
Yes, I have one of those. I put it in my intro video.
Yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Send him over my way.
All right. I'll see what we can make happen.
We are, one other announcement. We don't forget the conference, of course, in September 19th and 20th up in Richmond, Missouri. And the Crossing Realms Conference. Ghost Tour is sold out. Ghost Hunt, sorry, is sold out. But we still got tickets for the conference. The VIP, the meet and greet, which is we're also going to do a film premiere. We got a gallery reading with Marilyn Bass that we got tickets for. We got all kinds of stuff. Still got vendor slots open. And we're gonna. I know we were talking about doing the second Dogman Ranch investigation. We've got weather coming in, folks, so we had to postpone. It's going to be single digits and ice, and I don't want anybody traveling to go anywhere to get there, or so we're going to postpone it, but we will get it done.
Yeah, cold weather in the South don't exactly mix very well. We're not exactly built for it.
No, we are not. We are not. I don't think my tent would keep me very warm.
Right.
So yeah. Back to the rake. What are your thoughts on this critter anyway? Or do you think? Well, I say critter. You think it's physical?
Physical? I think there's a good possibility that it is. I think there's historical accounts that go back a good way. It doesn't really start seeming to be called the rake up until like the 1800s from the earliest that I could find.
Yeah, see, I think it's the same thing everybody called a ghoul.
See, I'm also in agreement with you on that. I feel like that is, one and the same, personally. Ghoul, and I think there's another name for that too, isn't there? Yeah, whatever. Brain ain't working. I haven't ate lunch yet, so forgive me. But yeah, I think it is a physical thing when it wants to be, and I have theories that I'm actually gonna like show a little bit of how it could be like physical and not supernatural.
Right.
But generally speaking, in my head, it's supernatural, but physical when it is here. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And actually, the reason why I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit is because unless things change, at the end of January, Greg and I are going to be actually going to, let's see here, Montesano Mountain and doing an investigation hunting for the rake. So, yeah, y'all be on the lookout for that. Going to be live streaming that when we're out there from my channel. Make a little mini doc on his end. But yeah, that's kind of why it's top of mind, I guess you could say.
That will be awesome.
Hope so.
So let's do this real quick. Wikipedia. In folklore, a ghoul is it's from goes back to in Arabic is where it started. Is a demon-like being or monstrous humanoid, often associated with graveyards and the consumption of human flesh. In legends or tales in which they appear, a ghoul is far more ill-mannered and foul than goblins. The concept of a ghoul originated in pre-Islamic Arabian religion. Modern fiction often uses the term to label a specific kind of monster. By extension, the word ghoul is also used as a derogatory sense to refer to a person who delights in the macabre or whose occupation directly involves death, such as a grave digger or grave robber.
Must be because they're all so skinny, right?
I guess so. The term was first used in English literature in 1786.
Interesting.
So what Oh, similar creatures in Mesopotamia. Oh my gosh!
Mesopotamia.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
glad you don't leave me hanging like Jason does.
Bro,
There
I
were
got you.
demonic entities such as Galu, which scholar Ahmed al-Rawi believes may have influenced the Arabic ghoul via early contact between Bedouin traders and Akkadians.
Hmm.
Galu was an Akkadian underworld demon associated with the stories of Dumazid and Inanna.
Okay,
Hmm.
Inanna, yeah.
Yeah. The modern
Very
ghoul.
interesting.
The modern ghoul. Here we go.
All right.
Entered the English tradition. Further identified as a grave robbing creature that feeds on dead bodies and children. In the
Hmm.
West, ghouls have no specific shape and have been described by Edgar Allan Poe as neither man nor woman, neither brute nor human.
Mm. Right.
Hmm.
So a couple things to point out that's interesting there is, you know, the whole pre-Islamic thing is very relevant because, they're talking about Mesopotamia, Babylon, and all that stuff, Acadia, you know, and that's where we even get like the term from them of the jinn, right? Which is, I mean,
Right.
something that the Islamic people adopted because of prior culture, but it's like their kind of demon thing, essentially, right? So that part is very interesting. And one thing to remember too is about that particular region of the world, especially like back in the times before Islam, like when we look at it in biblical terms and we see that's where the fallen angels came down and did their experiments and all the stuff that was running around that basically got pushed out of the promised land. That's the region in which all that stuff went to before it started spreading out more. So the
Hmm.
fact that there's so much history coming from that part of the world is very relevant, very relevant.
So, do you think this is something that is, because we've been talking a lot here lately about
Mhm.
things that we manifest on our own.
Mm, yeah.
You know, what do you think about that?
I think the possibility is very good. I mean, let's just assume for a minute that these entities want to, for lack of a better term, feed on said fear, right? I mean,
Right.
because this is like a theme that kind of like overarches with lots of subjects, right? They want to induce as much fear as possible. Well, I mean, if something is watching you and is like, "Hey, I'm going to mess with them." How do I go about doing it? Well, the
Right.
whole concept of uncanny valley exists for a reason, right? I mean, you come off as something that's humanoid and yet you kind of have like jerkily movements and look human but not. I mean, it's a good way to start extracting that said fear. So I think it's possible. I think you know those, like, and speaking in terms of that, like in form of demonic, they know you better than you know yourself. So
Right.
if they think that's going to, extract more fear from you, then yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. And it's like you said. These it's kind of like dogmen. It's like they
Hmm.
like they feed on, like you said, the fear.
Hmm.
You know. Um, so and see, I like this statement here. The rake is pure fiction, not fake like ghosts or sightings of Bigfoot,
Well,
where many people are skeptical, yet their existence cannot be definitely disproven. we know for sure the rake is fake.
Right.
I don't think the rake is fake. I just think it's like we were talking about, I think it's a term that was given to an already known entity.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's fake by any means. It's just figuring out the particular flavor of what it is and what it's all about is the mystery. Now, granted, the whole creepypasta thing, calling it the rake, didn't help. But, if we want to make Wikipedia happy, how about we say pale crawler? Does that tickle everybody's fancy a little more? You know what I mean? So, tomato, whatever you want it to be. You can call it Bob for all I care.
Yeah, right.
And to be fair, it does resemble a crackhead sometimes too. So
yeah, that it does. And I just ran across something real interesting because you were talking about the rake was back. You could trace it back to like the 1800s and something.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how true this is, but the first recorded incident of the rake was documented in a mariner's log dated 1691. Who traveled to the northern United States from England. The rake attacked the mariner in his sleep, and the land allegedly demanded they leave, to which the mariner and his crew complied.
Yep. I actually saw that and another one. I feel like that was from that general era. The age of sail, as it were, right? So
Right.
Yeah. So the interesting thing though, like about that is, all right, so we're 1600s. You encounter said rake, and it speaks to you, and you understand it. Well, I'm not exactly sure how well English was established in the 1600s in North America.
Right.
But if it does have a demonic origin / Nephilim based origin, then yes, 100% it would know English. So there's that little food for thought.
So in historical context, a rake, short for Raquel, or Hellraiser, was a man who was habituated to immoral conduct, particularly womanizing. Often a rake was also prodigal, wasting his inherited fortune on gambling, wine, women, and song, and incurring lavish debts in the process.
So kind of like a crackhead likes to party. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's see. What is a rake demon? The rake, is a humanoid creature described by reports of being 6 feet tall, with grayish skin, black eyes, resembling a large hairless dog or naked man. It is often seen in suburban areas, and when spotted, it stares at the person. If provoked or approached, it opens its mouth and widens its eyes. Some interesting stuff.
Let's see here. I'm trying to open up a bit of a picture here. Open with, I believe it's that.
Yeah, let me know and I'll share your screen.
Are you able to see that okay?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
And of course, that is the one that goes all over the internet when we talk about a rake.
If
I'm not mistaken, I think that's from a movie, though.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I've seen one. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it may have gotten somebody tried to pass it off as an actual photo, but I think it's actually from a movie or a show or something.
I know there's one.
I may be talking out of my ass, but I don't know.
Who knows? I know there's one that came out very similar in time for this one.
Right.
And it was more man-like in its features, with like a normal nose, but it looked like a very creepy and emaciated crackhead. He was like laying down, then he popped up and ran away or something like that. Like, I know that came about in about the same time, and I think it was because of this photo of why that whole stuff started taking off. I could be wrong. I could be talking out the side of my neck as well.
Right.
I don't know. But the interesting feature is, and can everybody see my mouse moving?
Yes.
Okay. So the interesting thing about this picture, now, like we said, guys, it could be fake, but let's just pretend for a little bit that it's real, okay? So the concept that I want people to focus on is the size of the eyes, the shape of the nose, position of the jaw, and most importantly, the fact that this eyebrow ridge right here is very pronounced with the small forehead. Oh, and one other feature, the width of the shoulders. Those are going to be very important. However, one more caveat before we leave. I find it odd that there's no dangly bits.
Yeah.
So
well, it was
there is
described as
that.
neither female nor male, so
Right. So there is that. So, all right. Has everybody heard of the theory of Neanderthal being a super predator? Maybe.
No, I don't think I have.
All right. I'm assuming this is still on the screen. So there's
Yes,
a
it
book
is.
out there
That was
called Them and Us by Danny Vendramini or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he goes over this a little bit, and he basically takes ape skin and puts it over a Neanderthal and poses the question of, what if early man was hunted and was in direct competition with other Homo sapien type species, such as Neanderthal, and we just decide, in modern academia to put a nice little bow on it and be like, oh yeah, we interbred and bred them out. But yet there's also evidence of us cannibalizing each other, right?
Right.
So if anybody's interested, this is the book that I'm going to be kind of looking at. Not really looking at images from. But check this guy out. This is said Neanderthal guy with ape skin stretched over his face. Notice the chin, notice the size of the eyes and the brow ridge. Makes me think a lot about Bigfoot too. And people have, often, apers are like, what if it's an undiscovered species of man? Yada, yada. When the whole giganto thing don't work out for them in their head for whatever.
Yeah, I
But,
haven't figured that out either.
right. But yeah, so here's like a rendition of that. Just kind of food for thought. And this one's going to have a bit of dangly bits. Sorry, folks. But, so hair, hairless. Once again, check out the size of the eyes, position of chin, size of cranium / skull, eyebrow ridge. I think that width of shoulders. Now, this is just my own speculation. Like, if we want to take the supernatural out of the equation here when we're talking about this critter, what if this guy right here was really emaciated looking because they decided to hang out in caves and basically become this said ghoul that was an opportunistic feeder on corpses, or, just eating worms and stuff like that, takes on this more of a, I guess in the European type language, of a troglodyte. What if? What if?
Well,
And go for it.
if you look up pictures of a hairless chimp,
Let me see
their
here.
skin can be a gray color.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were, like you said, unhealthy, that would, and normally, and these things are seen on all fours and on bipedal. This is a possibility.
Oh yeah.
I like where you're going with this. The only thing that doesn't match is the ears. But
right. That guy feels like he needs like some iodized salt.
Let me bring this up because this is interesting.
Okay, let's stop sharing for a minute.
No, you're good. I'm just going to save it as an overlay anyway. Because this we might have, you know what, we might, but I don't see hairless chimps being all over the United States either. So,
no, just that one, whatever his name was, Oscar or something.
Yeah. Look at that.
Look at that guy. Dang.
Now, if he was, say he was starving.
Right.
Okay. Well, look at the missing ear over here on his right side.
Yeah.
That could explain where maybe it started. You know?
Yeah. And we all know that chimpanzees love to eat meat.
Yep.
I mean, those things are
freaking vicious. And if he's starving back in the day, before people started being embalmed and, regularly and all that kind of stuff, and were easily dug up in shallow graves and that type of thing, that would explain a lot.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Very easy. I would agree. I'm going to get this put back up here. Present. Share screen. Entire screen. Share. All right. I'm going to go back to the photos. So, all right. I'm ready. If I'm not up there already, because I can't see what's happening on StreamYard. Can you guys see this?
I think I froze up for a while.
Okay. No big deal.
So let me take this down. So anyway, share your screen. Ooh, not mine, yours. There we go.
So check this skull out and tell me that doesn't look exactly to a T like the very first image of the popular rake.
Yep. That it do.
That it do, right? Size of the eyes, shape of the face, eyebrows, small skull. Very, very reminiscent. My personal opinion. And this is go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is a skull, supposedly, of Homo erectus.
So,
not that we have a whole lot going on with that.
What we're basically putting forward here is that the rate could go back to a perfectly normal explanation.
It could. All right. Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, I like to throw out as much information as I can, like some people want to be just purely scientific. Okay, so if you want purely scientific, there's some skeletal remains and a theory that could match up to explain it to where we're like, okay, we're not just they didn't look like primitive us back then, all white too, which is crazy. I digress. if you want to take that scientific view, there you go. There's that shape of the skull and everything matches. The skeletal remains I pulled at the very end is what we actually have of them. And it's a lot more streamlined looking than what most museums like to actually portray it as. They want to show like the ribs being way wider, and no, we don't have the evidence to back that up. And it just follow me on a thought experiment here. Okay, so you're a holdover of this population, 'cause that's Homo erectus was pretty long time ago. All right, so more modern Homo sapien species are emerging. We got Neanderthal, we got Denisovan, and they're just starting to outclass you. You're going to have to, if you're going to keep on, you're going to have to start finding a new niche, and you're going to want to be protected as you want to move out of your traditional area. So you're going to hang out in caves. You're going to be more prone to scavenge, and you're going to be more prone to just be like, oh, there's a cave worm or bat. That's easy protein. Yoink, mine. Nom. And over time, your eyes are going to get more, able to see in the dark because you're hanging out in caves, you're doing all this. I think it's very possible if you want to take the scientific look and look at things through an evolutionary lens and sprinkle on some like extra flavor that, yeah, you could make that leap. And if you're hanging out in caves all the time and not having to worry too much about other stuff messing with you because you've evolved the ability to go back further if you need to and survive just fine. You got food and water back there. You make a rake.
Well, I think as far as the origin goes, we may be onto something here.
Mm-hmm.
But if we take it further up forward in history, and then we start having the sightings and everything, where do we go with that?
I think
because
as more and more
hairless apes running around suburban areas,
right?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Right. I mean, we take up so much more space and occupy, traditional forested areas. We even start exploring the caves for fun, pushing them back, and eventually it's like, I don't know, probably one of them gets a wild hair up its butt and is like, you know what? I'm gonna go out for a little bit, see what them pink monkeys think about this white monkey. Yeah. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I get where you're going, but I think, okay, maybe we're onto the origin story and maybe got the ball rolling. But I think what people are seeing nowadays or saw even after that, it's either something they manifested themselves or it's just something that is paranormal in nature.
Yeah. And, like I said, the caveat is that's where I go with it too. I mean, I'm just throwing interesting stuff out there,
Right.
It could be, right?
Hold against the wall, see what sticks.
Right. I mean, yeah. But for me, I see it as purely something supernatural that is manifesting in the physical and chooses to take this form or has developed this form because it stays in the physical realm for so long,
right,
that it starts kind of like degrading or I don't know, just de-evolving, I guess you could say in a way.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, my head runs wild with all kind of speculation. Like, if you were paranormal in a sense, and I would think that you would be some kind of DNA linkage to, like, say, a Nephilim, essentially, right? Because we know that they experimented on all kind of things, and giants were just one little aspect. They just get the most press because, well, they were big.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Right. And there was all kind of other stuff that were much more normal sized. But anyways, and where do we know, or what do we know about their said progenitors, like the 200 that spawned them? Where are they at according to biblical terms? They're chained underneath the earth. Underneath the earth. So if you've got things that right. If you've got things that survived and are wanting to constantly come down on there and check on you and get you your stuff and whatever, caves and stuff make sense. And eventually, yeah, you're just gonna look like a crackhead, I guess. With an attitude problem.
And we were talking off air about the story that when I was co-hosting another channel, the guy contacted us, and I narrated his for the first encounter. And he supposedly had a run-in with the rake. He witnessed the rake kill a dog man. Him and his former special forces buddies were out honing their skills. They shot it with it. I think they shot it with a 50 caliber rifle. Didn't kill it. They ended up killing a dog man. The rake and dog man ended up killing some of a couple of the guys. It was a very controversial, to say the least, story. I don't put much. I don't think it carries much weight. I really don't. In the end, the guy was talking to a alpha dog man. The rest of the pack wanted to kill the guy for killing the younger dog man. He was keeping him safe. And when we suggested that, since he was having these face-to-face actual conversations with this dog man, and this dog man could speak English, that he record, some of these conversations.
Right.
The next thing that happened was that now these ABC agencies are after him again, and him and his family were having to go into hiding, and he told us we should just tell everybody that we were going to discredit him. His story was fake, and we never heard from him again. So, it's I think he went a long way around till we called him on it, and then that's what he saw us out. That's what I think.
Right.
I think it was just a very. I think it was just somebody wanting their 15 minutes of fame, as you could say, I guess. Wanting some attention when he got more than he could handle.
Right. People want more. Give us more details. Tell it better. And all of a sudden, your story starts to crumble.
Yeah, you're not gonna tell me that you're having face-to-face conversations with something like that.
Exactly.
And me not ask you for proof. So I'm just, it's just not. And I know this may piss a lot of people off, and I'm sorry, But it's like if you've got a clan of Bigfoot living on your property and you can get up close and personal with these things, where's your selfies? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Like, if these are charismatic megafauna hanging out in the woods and they're your buddies, where's the selfie? You know?
And I'll tell you the answer I get 100% of the time is, well, I'm not going to do that out of respect for them.
Oh, how convenient. I see.
Every time every time that's an answer, the answer that I got, the response that I got.
Right. I respect the forest critters so much, I'm not going to take their picture or even ask if I can have permission to take their picture. Yeah. Meanwhile, how many stories do we got to hear about these things creeping in on people's like bedroom windows and stuff?
Yeah.
Like the respect theoretically doesn't seem to flow both ways there. So
right.
Don't know what you do with that.
Me either. Because I'm going to tell you, if I was friends with a Bigfoot, I'm going to do what I can to take a selfie, even if I had to just have it for myself, right, and let it come out when I die. You know,
sure,
I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
or I'm going to get some hair or something, you know,
right.
And if I respect them enough not to take a picture, then I'm not even going to come out with, oh, I do this. This is happening. No.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That's not exactly how respect works, is it?
No. If you're going to keep them under wraps, keep them under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Not just until you get called on it.
Right. Human nature. What do you do?
Yeah.
You know, let them tell the story, and it's up to us, the audience, to be like, I call BS, or hey, I like it.
Yeah.
It's on y'all.
And it comes down to who you believe and who you trust. You know?
Exactly. That's the challenge with all this stuff, ultimately. Like, you know, as far as
I guess you could say I'm a little jaded, because I've been hoaxed, and by someone I trusted a couple of times, and it's like a kick in the gut. It really is.
Right.
You know, you find out that somebody's not all of what you thought they were, but and it's like the old saying goes. I guess, well, not that they were my heroes. I'm just saying, you know, you never meet your heroes because you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But and that goes, you know, just take just YouTube personalities, me, you know,
right.
I try very hard not to pretend what I'm not, to be what I'm not. You know,
right.
Kind of what you see is what you get. You've met me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If anything, I'm more rougher. I'm rougher around the edges in person than I am here.
A little. But good fun.
I always have a good time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, you know, for me, whenever I hear a story, you know, I only have my own personal experiences to compare it to.
Right.
You know, like I've seen Bigfoot, I've seen Dogman, I've seen aliens, I've had mind speak. I've experienced, honestly, way too much. And that's another story. But it is on my YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. I throw it all out there in chronological order.
Which is
Fisher's Spam, The Night's Watch.
The Night Watch.
Right. It's all there if you want to hear what I have to say on the matter. You know, and that's the thing. Like, like whenever I hear somebody tell a story about a dog, man, and when they describe it, I can only take what they're saying and compare it to the one that I saw. You know, if
Yeah.
they tell me it doesn't have a slight hump on its back and German Shepherd ears with a long snout, I'm like, doesn't look like what I saw, but I also think that there's multiple things going on with Dogman. So maybe, you know. But now if they match with what I saw, I'm like, yeah, spot on. I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $1. Why not? You know. But that also would be like also saying like, you know, just because it doesn't match, does that mean I think it didn't happen? You know, I'm never gonna say that to somebody. And you know, you can normally tell by the way people talk and like the way they recant it. You know, I mean, there's cues that you can look at and
Yeah.
see, but
Yeah.
ultimately it's up to everybody in the audience. You know, none
Yeah.
of y'all were there when I saw it. So, you know, if I'm lying, I'm dying though. I'll tell you that.
Well, and you know me and mine speak. I haven't experienced it,
Mhm.
you know, but I'm not going to tell you you didn't.
Right.
You know, it's like we say all the time. Just because you experienced something I didn't doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
And it's not on us to judge that. You know,
Mhm.
it's on us to put it out there because
Right.
you can't on one hand say we're going to give people a safe platform, you know,
Mm.
not just to share their story, but to if you're going to put
Right.
yourself out there and go, hey, if you need to, you know, if you're having trouble dealing with an encounter that you had, you know, hey, we'll bend an ear for you, you know, or you
Mhm.
can bend our ear and then be all judgmental about stuff. You can't have it
Right.
both ways.
No.
You know,
No.
you want to be a skeptic, that's fine, but don't be an asshole.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the key. I mean, because I mean, granted, I know I'm not everybody's slice of spam, you know. I
Right.
take a Christian perspective for all of it because with everything that's happened to me, when I plug in that theory, it's the only thing that connects everything fully for me. But that's just me, you know. And then if somebody doesn't
Right.
want to like take that approach, hey, that's fine. That's totally acceptable. I'm happy to come to whatever level you want to communicate on. I mean, for
Right.
instance, I don't even think the rake is a natural humanoidal animal. But
I
yet
don't
I've
know.
given you guys evidence to say that if you want to, here you go. Here's
Right.
something. You know, I'll come to whatever level you want to discuss a thing on. And worst case scenario, we're all talking out the side of our neck on a subject and we have a good time,
That is true.
right? That's what it's all about. Because ultimately, I just want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think, you know, most of us, especially in our circle,
right,
and when I say our circle, I mean, you know, the porchers that are out there and you know, Paul and the girls and Rob and Donny and
right,
Jason and you and
mm,
this list keeps growing, which is good. You know,
right,
Brent and you know, Danielle and Greg, you know, Greg's
hmm.
very open minded,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know. But we're not going to tell you you're full of crap just because your experience is different than ours.
exactly,
You know, and we're not,
exactly.
and we're not here to judge you. You know, and
Hmm.
I think that's, you know, we're here to help if we can. We're not counselors, but or most of us aren't. But we're not. You know, it's not. We're like most of us aren't professional at handling that kind of stuff. But we've had similar experiences. You know,
Right,
maybe we can help you work through it if you're traumatized by it. You know, or having a hard time with it. So that's what
exactly.
we're here for, is to help if we can.
Hmm. That is the goal. That is the goal. Because, you know, like I remember for me, man, whenever everything happened for me, like I felt, God, so alone. Like,
Yeah,
who do I go to talk about the alien that showed up in my driveway and mind speaked me and then took control of my body and forced me to go to sleep when it could have very easily have took my own pistol and went like that. You know,
right.
if it already controlled my body, who do I turn to talk about that? Do I talk to MUFON and then be like, oh yes, the Palladians, they're very nice guys normally. I don't know what to make of that. No. You know, I mean, if you want to go that route, go for it. I mean, more power to you. I'm just here to say, hey, I had a crazy experience,
Right.
and you're telling you had a crazy experience. Let's talk about it. You know, that way
And if we
you don't feel
can,
alone.
you know, if we do manage to bring evidence forward, to share it, you know,
Exactly.
and you know, I'm not going to try to tell you what to see in my. This is the way I run. I'm not going to put something out there and tell you this is what this is. I'm going to put it out there and go, what do you think? Do you see anything? Am I seeing stuff? You know, is my imagination playing tricks on me? Tell me what you see. You know, that's how I roll. But
I'll draw a red circle around it if you want me to, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming up, and it's a topic that we don't talk about very much. You know, the rake and where we think what we think it is, where we think it came from, and everything. Oh, look here.
Hey, what up, Joshy?
Been a member for 3 months.
Awesome,
That's
buddy.
awesome. Paul thanks you from the bottom of my heart. Paul thanks you.
Yes, I'm sure that nerd is very appreciative.
And I understand the whole third shift thing, brother.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, I wish I had more content that I could add to it. Like I have one rake story that I've heard, but I haven't been able to like fully flush it out, and I keep trying to get the guy to come on, and so far he's like, nah, he's scared. You know,
well,
and that's how it goes.
Just relay it on your channel.
Yeah, well, I've got to actually have him sit down and type it all out for me, and I would love to make it happen, but procrastination and such, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
I get it. It took me years to come on and finally talk about my stuff, so I understand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on them though.
Right. Here. Well, guys, we're going to let y'all go, and don't forget we're going to ring in the new year on the porch, and we're going to have, if I can't get a co-host because people are doing their thing with their families and stuff, maybe we'll do an open lines thing. So, but either way, we're going to ring in the new year. Y'all can hang out with me, and maybe I'll sing the All Lang Syne for you. We'll see.
Don't want to miss that, folks. You want to be there for that.
Yeah. But thank you again, and see if I can find the button, because he's got an extra and all this kind of stuff set up. So,
fancy. Yeah.
Thank you again, James. Appreciate it, brother.
See you, Daddy.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do?
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.